Once you have your 7 backend keywords picked out, then you're going to want to use them in your title, your subtitle, and or your description. Okay, if you've got a fiction novel, then you're not necessarily going to be using these keywords in your title. You're not going to call it the romance book because that would be ridiculous. Okay, but you could use it in your subtitle if you wanted to call it a romance novel, but again, that's still kind of cheesy. Okay. However, if you have a nonfiction book that you're writing and one of your keywords is gluten-free cookbook, then you could title it the gluten-free cookbook, and that's very easy for people to find, and it's really easy for Amazon to know exactly what your book is about, right? Either way, once you have your 7 keywords that you've picked out and you've put them in a folder, then we're going to come over here. I'm using Helium 10, but you can do this manually as well. You just have your 7 backend keywords, write out your description, and make sure that you've used each of those keywords in your product description or that you have them in your title or your subtitle. Now, using the Helium 10 listing builder, I'm going to say add a listing, create from scratch, start building, and I have my 7 backend keywords. And if I just come over here and I say add to bank, then here they are. Then I just click next, and here are my 7 backend keywords, and there's also the individual words separately as well. Now I can include them in my title. With a gluten-free cookbook, you probably would want to include them in your title, so I could say gluten-free cookbook, and then for a subtitle I could actually say so I would probably just type that here. And this is what it would look like on Amazon as your subtitle, but you have a separate slot when you're filling out the information on KDP. You have a separate slot for the subtitle. So I could say recipe book with pasta. Well, let me just list it. Breads, pasta, snacks, meal prep, and more. Okay, see how I just used a whole bunch? I knocked out a whole bunch of those keywords in my title and subtitle. And then I would come down here to my description, and the bullet points are just, they're kind of helping you break this up and create a nice fancy description. You can do that manually as well. I'm just showing you how to make sure that you're using keywords in your description, and as I explained in the Helium 10 tutorial, the reason that you do this is because it helps Amazon recognize that your 7 backend keywords do in fact relate to the book that you posted on Amazon. Having a ton of these keywords like repeatedly over and over again in your description does not increase your chances of ranking for that keyword. Again, it just tells Amazon that for sure those keywords do relate to your book, that you're not just coming up with some random 7 keywords. So in my description, I could say, this cookbook includes, and this would be where maybe my bullets would be, right? It includes, and in Amazon, I would say enter, and then I would do some bullet points, right? But I can't actually hit enter here, so I'm just going to type them out. So gluten-free bread, gluten-free cookies, gluten-free pasta, etc., right? And then I could just, make sure that I hit all of these keywords. So that's really pretty easy. Now with your description, it's also important to know how to do a little bit of sales copy. Okay, we're not just gonna throw a bunch of keywords in there and hope that people buy the book, right? You want your description to still be catching and have a hook, so that when people look at your description, that the first thing they see, they're like, oh, I want to read more, I want to learn more. Okay, so don't just come in here and just throw a whole bunch of keywords in there, like I said. But this is something that you do want to keep in mind when you are formatting your description.